We've got a lot planned on the show for you today. We have some updates to some rebranding for travel agencies. Well, not travel agencies, but travels. We got some exciting Adobe Express updates, some YouTube updates, some Instagram updates, plenty for you to check out, and a whole lot more. So we're going to go and we're going to check in. This is your best source for creator news, design news, art news, you name it. So let's go and hop on into the news. And welcome back to Season 4. This is the new season of File New. We are going to be off one more week for next week, but then right after that, we will get right back into it. Hello to Cody and Bree and Evie and Penny, Robert and Frank. All hello to everybody over on Behance and on YouTube. If you are watching this as a replay, though, I promise I will do my best to make it worth the replay watch and make it still useful for you. We've got a whole bunch of links. You can access all of them. They are on the raindrop, which is this swirling little thing on screen. I'm shaking it up so you don't read all the headlines before we get into it. But you'll be able to access them and all of the links from previous episodes as well there. I'll go ahead and I'm going to throw the raindrop link into the chat. If we could have maybe Cody or someone be so kind to then also put it into the Behance chat, because I can't make clickable links in the Behance chat. But we're going to start off with some Substance 3D news. Substance 3D Designer, which is another subset of Adobe products, is evolving with some new renders, some smarter workflows, and they recently put a update onto the Adobe blog so that you can understand what is new to the program. Top and foremost is a new high-quality 3D rendering. And it says that it is going to improve the viewport with features such as shadows in rasterizer mode and improved quality and performance. It's engineered to support feature enhancements like Material X and improves upon existing OpenGL and Iray renderers in designers and aligns with the renderers available in other Substance 3D applications, ensuring visual consistency across all of your Substance 3D products. So if you're a 3D Substance designer, this is going to be something that really updates your effects. There are some new post effects, including visual emissive surfaces, depth of field, tone mapping, including popular profiles like ACES and AGX. All these post effects can be accessed via the camera menu, giving you a closer preview of the final look of materials. This is really being able to focus on that computers are getting stronger and previews and things can now happen closer to real time, so that way you're able to look at things and be able to get an idea of the ending. There's designing materials in context for your 3D project. It says whether you're authoring materials, it can be incredibly useful to see how they will work on a 3D model or within a complex 3D scene, which enhances the format support and improved support for textures and cameras. Designers can load 3D scenes now. That helps artists see materials directly on a mesh and preview their work in full context. In addition, it is now possible to create a graph from a texture already applied to an imported scene and override this texture or material in the USD scene as a new layer. And then finally, besides the other improvements, there are faster learning with rich tooltips. Now, the release makes Designer easier to learn with a set of new rich tooltips that help artists easily identify and work with nodes. These tooltips currently available for atomic nodes include visuals that demonstrate the node's effect and provide a direct link to documentation for detailed information, including the list of parameters, tips, and tricks. You can read all of these things and get further information all on blog.adobe.com. This is coming from Michael Klinstra, and it was just updated and uploaded yesterday. It has some really good artwork by Louise Malin with this really pretty waterfall and these rocks. I, as always, and you can make a super clip of me saying it constantly, would love to learn 3D, but I just haven't got around to it in the last 10 years. So I've been real busy over the last 10 years. Next up, we have a reel coming to us, and this is coming with permission from God's Eye Creative and Justin Godsey. It's about an update with Instagram and how Instagram is interacting with the internet. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull up this, and then we will watch the replay. Then we can talk a little bit about what it means for you as a creator or as a business owner, you name it.
Twitch with a massive update, and most business owners have no idea it even happened. For years, Instagram's been a closed system. You could post a great video and it would die in the platform. If the algorithm didn't like it, it doesn't show up. But starting on July 10th, your Instagram content can now be indexed by Google. This is the first time that your Instagram post can live outside the app, which means that people who don't follow you or who aren't even on Instagram can now find you and your content through Google, just by searching the right keywords. But here's the catch. If your content isn't optimized for search, then you're gonna miss out on a massive wave of organic discovery. So here's how you fix it, and fast. Number one, update your name field. Instead of something like Taylor Founder, write Taylor, skincare for sensitive skin. Number two, use Google-friendly captions. Write like someone is Googling. Think best skincare for dry winter months, or how to plan a wedding in Phoenix. Number three, say your keywords out loud. Instagram and Google can hear you now, so script your videos with intentional phrasing. Speak to the search, not just scrollers. Number four, your cover text should equal your title text. Make your cover images bold, simple, and searchable. And number five, your bio is SEO real estate. Scrap all the fluff. Something like helping new moms recover confidence through pelvic floor therapy beats something vague like empowering women every single day. This update is coming July 10th, and it's the biggest organic opportunity that we've seen on Instagram in years. Most people won't move on it, but if you do, and you do it right, this could be your edge. So if this helped, send it to a friend who needs to see it as well, and follow along for more tips like this before they're common knowledge. Instagram just flipped the switch with a massive update, and
So yeah, I think that's really helpful. I already see you guys going off in the chat saying I'm not SEOing my profile. Penny Doodles is saying, oh no, I got to change my profile all over again. Happy hump day to you, Evie, as well, over on YouTube. I think that this isn't going to necessarily apply to absolutely everyone, because if you're creating things on Instagram just for fun or for art and you're not necessarily looking to have an SEO experience, this might not be something that you need to update. However, if you are working on branding, if you're working on trying to get a wider reach audience, I think these are very updated and important updates that you can then apply to your profile. It is something that just went into effect, so it's only 6 days old. A lot of people probably haven't started updating themselves, but it is really helpful because I feel like a lot of people tend to put a lot of time into their Instagram posts and then they just kind of tend to disappear. Apurva says, in short, Meta and Google are now in a data sharing agreement, so I think laughing face. I read that like I was an AI, but I'm real. This is Ryan. I will say that search online is changing too. This is probably also a response to the idea that the way that we interact with Google and other programs is rapidly changing. There are entire businesses that are starting to struggle because now there is a lot of generative chat bots that are now pulling from places and pushing out rather than bringing people to places. So if you are going to be using your search engine optimization on your content, make sure that you're also finding ways to still incorporate yourself into it so that then if it is pulled or scraped or moved, that you still kind of move along with it. Oliver is, on the contrary, saying, I stopped tagging my photos because Instagram made them useless. Now, apparently, I have to tag them again before it's useful for Google. I just don't care anymore. And yes, it is constantly changing landscape, but that's why you watch File New, so that you can finally know what is up to date. And I will constantly let you guys know when there are new updates to platforms, services, and programs. Thank you again to Justin Godsey for posting this video. It's really great to know. And make sure you guys check out his Instagram. Thank you for letting us share it on the show. Since we're on the topic of social media platforms and exhausting our friend Oliver in the chat, Adobe Express recently did an update on their blog while we were on break. This was on the 13th, and this is the biggest updates in social media for June 2025. This is an update that just went out at the beginning of July, so it has a bunch of different key takeaways. Some of their key takeaways, and by some I'm going to read all of their bullet points real quick, is new comment filters for Instagram creators with over 100,000 followers are available. New teleprompter feature for Instagram Edits app. You can now rearrange posts on your Instagram grid. You can share songs, add a background color and emoji to Instagram notes. XChat begins rolling out to all paying users of X. LinkedIn adds video covers for articles and newsletters. TikTok launches TikTok for Artists program. TikTok adds fan clubs feature for live streaming, and TikTok adds bulletin board for broadcast messaging. Since we're talking about TikTok, TikTok. I will say that it is, of course, always in legal limbo with the idea of is it getting shut down or not. But as of right now, in today's broadcast, it looks like it will not be getting shut down. There was actually rumors and discussion that there might be a TikTok made specifically for America. It might be called something different from TikTok, but it would come from the same company, and it would just have different ownership under these new legislations. That said, in the time being, it looks like as of right now, there is no plans of it shutting down, because it's kind of like, even if the laws go into effect, they have gotten written approval to just stay online. So you might not need to hop off of TikTok. That said, for all these other social media updates, including like X and Instagram, you can access this whole blog. It's linked in the raindrop. Every single part that we just discussed also has a good write-up as to what it is. So like, in the idea here, let's look at a random one that says Instagram adds ability to rearrange grid post live now. It says Instagram made it possible to rearrange the order of posts within your grid, allowing you to customize and control how your profile displays. This is just a really good resource. Obviously, Express has very good integrations with social media, which we'll be going over in just a second, because there are some new updates for the integrations with social media. But when you are posting to these different platforms, it's important to know what their newest capabilities are, because normally if you're the first to market with these new capabilities, you tend to be able to get a lot of engagement before everybody else figures it out and speeds up. Oliver says, God forbid Instagram should just show the photos I post to people that's following me. LOL. Yeah, I mean, that's something that is kind of available in Blue Sky. You guys know I love to mention my Blue Sky, bluesky.com. Or not bluesky.com, it's like blueskyapp.com, I think. But I'm ryanselvey.com on Blue Sky. If you want to just go to ryanselvey.com, that'll also guide you all the way there as well. Like I said, since we were talking about some social media updates, we have Andy Lambert, who is the product manager over at Adobe Express, and he recently uploaded to his own YouTube a really nice, helpful video that's walking through all the different game-changing social media updates in Adobe Express. So I thought it'd be great to go ahead and we can just watch this video, and then we can talk a little bit about it afterwards. So let's go ahead, off to Mr. Andy.
Hey, it's Andy, product manager working on Adobe Express. I have 4 new specifically social media orientated updates for you, which have all been very highly requested. So let's dive into a quick demo of them all. So firstly, safe zones. This has been hotly requested for a long time now. So whenever you're working on a social media orientated project, you'll see safe zones at the top. If you toggle them on, you'll now see, if we're looking at creating for an Instagram reel, we'll see the area of safe zone that we can use. This helps us design according to Instagram's user interface and maximize user attention on the areas we really want to draw attention to. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy that one. Now I'm just going to go ahead and share this one to Instagram, share it as a reel. And I'll just put a test caption in here. But what we can now do, as soon as we start typing the @ symbol, we're going to go ahead and then start to see pages and profiles that we can now tag. So there we go. We can now tag people so they'll get a notification as soon as that post lands. And that means that we can help drive and grow attention on our content. Right then, so this is more of a reminder because this released a couple of weeks ago, but it's a very hotly requested feature. So we can edit the reel cover. You've always been able to select the frame, which is quite important in ones like this. So I want to select a particular frame like that. So we're going to confirm that one. But now we can also use a custom cover as well. So if we've already created a design in Adobe Express, for example, we can add a custom cover if we want to. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and put that in as a draft for now. I'm going to put that out for tomorrow, let's say. So pop that in the calendar. Now we're done. So now we're going to go ahead and view the calendar. So of course, as you know, you can view by week or month, but if you scroll up, you'll now see you can view it in a grid view as well. So now if we care about how our Instagram grid looks, as you can see, there's the examples I've just shared. If we care about how our grid looks, we can now see exactly what that's going to look like here. We can look at the Reels feed as well. Excuse how awful my testing account looks here, but yeah, forgive me on that one. But ultimately, now you've got safe zones app mentions to grow the reach of your content. You've got the ability to customize your covers for your reels to make sure your grid looks as good as possible, and then you can review your grid as well. They are your 4 key features that's going to help you create social content that will drive impact. And of course, don't forget that you've also got the recently released analytics feature to really drive into the analysis and the numbers behind your content. So yeah, it's getting a lot better and a lot more complete, this social media offering now. So look forward to hearing your thoughts, and please enjoy.
And then we're not going to look at lo-fi jazz, although that will be interesting to see if that ends up getting us a content stripe for the 0.5 seconds that I played for it. Very exciting updates. Nice to know that, you don't have to save everything to your computer and then go back up. And for a while there was that integration, but there was the idea that, you still maybe had to still go into app or into the service in order to do some of these things like reel covers or something. And it's really nice that now mentions and reel covers are all finally integrated directly into the service. That way you can schedule and set up and post all directly from Adobe Express. That's something that I really want to be able to focus more on with File New. It's something that I know I kind of touched towards, but I'm trying to get better at being not such an old man. I am very used to just doing everything on desktop. I like that Adobe Express has mobile capabilities and the ideally able to be able to interact with clients and send things back and forth and being able to edit. So I'm going to try to learn more about it so that I can highlight it more. But thank you so much to Andy Lambert. Make sure you follow him over on YouTube, and he'll get you lots of great updates. Also, they tend to do some really great streams, like once a month. I don't think they're streaming until like September, but summer is a crazy time. So mind you, everyone's got different stuff on. Summer sales are going on. There were a bunch last week, and then this week now is week 3 of AE Scripts and AE Plugins. They're having their 3rd week of their summer sales. You can get up to, I think, 25% off on a bunch of really valuable plugins. This is a site that I tend to search and go back to a lot. As you guys know, full disclosure, I have worked with them before in the past, but it was a customer before I even worked for them, and they are not paying or anything for this slot. This is just me letting you guys know that this is going on. You can shop the sale now. It's available in the link that is within the raindrop. The one thing that I will say I really use a lot, and you guys probably see it if you've watched any of my motion graphics, is Easy Text, which is by Simple Text is by Two Dead Frog. That's one that I really like a lot. And then also, you guys always know that I like Keyframer, or KeyFast by Brenton Brander, who Brenton Brander actually releases a lot of really cool things. There are things like Hover, which is a ability to be able to have little cursor that then interacts with your work without having to do a lot of crazy single keyframing. But if you go through any of these, you can always flip through and just see the different things that they have. Autochroma is also one that I am very familiar with. I used After Codecs for a while, and I still do every now and then if I need to have a quick H.264 export that maybe is a little bit too complex for just the native built-in. There's also Workflower, which is kind of like another toolbar that you can use, Mixing Essentials for After Effects. This all ends on Friday, so you still have about 2 more days to look through this. They have 1 more week, which is in August, which has different sales available, but these are the ones that are just available for this week. And you can check that all out just by going to aescripts.com. Very cool, very nice. They have a nice little space promotion, as they always do. And I would be interested to know if you guys end up picking some for your own. And McCorn says, ooh, KeyFast is on sale. Yes, very interesting. And McCorn's also very surprised that it is the 3rd week already. Bree is shaming me for trying to get the #1 spot on chat, but I guess you guys are going to have to talk a little bit more so that, you can fight me and get me off #1. But I'm glad to have you guys chatting on both. It really helps the algorithm, so I appreciate it. Couldn't decide if I was going to put this next story in Rebrand or in news, but it happened while we were out on break. This is from Business Insider, but a bunch of different publications ended up posting about it. This specific one that I linked to is by Henry Chandonnet, and it says Apple scales back the glassiness of its liquid glass design in the latest version of the iPhone software. So as you might know or may not know, right now the next integration of Apple's OS, operating system, for mobile, for iPad, for everything, is in a developer beta. So you have to set up sorry, I'm seeing your mention right now that the link is not showing up. It's not in the description here. I am going to go quickly see if I can paste. Is this going to do it? Nope, that's not going to click it. It should be right. There you go. All right, there's the raindrop for you. What was I saying? Basically, they have the new developer update for the new OS, and with the new OS, they were introducing Liquid Glass. Liquid Glass is a new design system that is going to be across all of Apple's software and really focuses on glass and refracting of light, refracting of imagery underneath buttons and interfaces. And it was met with critical response because mostly of the fact that some of the accessibility and the visibility for it was difficult to see. They are now on the third iteration of the developer beta, which means that it is still not even a public beta yet. It is supposed to be just for developers. But it was interesting because the key takeaways that Business Insider has here is that the change comes after critics said that the software's transparent theme muddled the readability of iPhone displays, and if made permanent, some designers, Business Insider spoke to, wondered how different iOS 26 would look compared to Apple's previous look. You can see here that some of the change comparisons are here. You can see that they have now taken away some of this glassy morphing look that was mostly transparent, and then turning it into less of a glassy morphy look and more into just kind of this opaque frosted glass that they used to have. There are several different websites and publishers that are taking it and showing that, they went from this full clear morphy shadowed background to then changing it to white and frosting it out and making it less. People are mixed on this. Some people are saying, yay, they're listening to people who are complaining. Other people are saying this is essentially reverting back to an old design system. This was their big pie in the sky grand reveal at WWDC, and that now it is essentially kind of like, all right, well, it's just going back to what it was. Of course, this is going to be revisions. I think that obviously they do need to listen to critics, and they need to listen to people when they're giving feedback. That is the point of a beta. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it is constantly a pendulum where it then moves all the way to the left, moves all to the right, and somehow we find our place in the middle. Because there are some cool features here, and there are some cool design aesthetics that are available and are being experimented with, the idea of glass and the way that we're interacting with our environment around us. But at the same time, accessibility is important, and if you can't see the things on your screen or it doesn't look good, then why are we doing it? So it'll be interesting to see with the next update, and then when it eventually goes out to public beta, and then when it eventually goes to official release, what it's going to look like as different from day one. Clever saying style versus usability. Yes. Form versus function. It is a conversation as old as time itself, or at least designed talk itself, I guess. And then in some more social media updates, Blue Sky, because you guys know I love talking about Blue Sky. Blue Sky can really keep up with the news now that it has activity notifications. This came out July 7th, so a little bit like over a week and a half ago. There's a new update to Blue Sky that now lets you to turn on notifications that can be push notifications. This is Blue Sky trying to be able to tackle up-to-date news, up-to-date sports in a way that competitors like Mastodon or X already were doing. This is something that then once again is just giving another feature to Blue Sky so that maybe it's more of the text-based real-time update that people are looking for an alternative. It says that a new update has also added much more control over which notifications users will see and who can trigger them. That way it's not all or nothing. You can't just be like, tell me every single time a friend posts an update, or absolutely death silence. This is a nice in between where you can be like, okay, I want these creators, I want these push notifications, and you can go and you can adjust them. They did an official press release for it, so you can go check it out. The link for the Verge story by Richard Lawler is there, and it'll also walk you through all the other updates, which is nice. Bruce is saying blue, blue, blue. Bree is saying, I haven't tried Blue Sky yet. Back to the previous story, Oliver is saying, I've not seen it on iOS in person, but on Mac OS, it wasn't good. Control Center was very difficult to see if you had a busy wallpaper set. Yeah, no, it's interesting to see how things are working. I know people were even complaining about like the corners not matching up, so it seems like they have a lot of work. We're talking a lot about AI constantly on the show. I thought something really interesting that was happening over on an article from Vice is that Denmark is fighting AI by giving citizens copyright to their own faces. This is written by Louis Prada, and it's talking about how Denmark is now giving people the right to be able to copyright their face so that it can't be used in deep fakes or likeness. It says your image, your voice, and your essence as a human being could be gobbled up by or regurgitated by AI. The clock is ticking on when your control over your image and representation is completely out of your hands. It says Denmark is giving citizens copyright to their own faces, and Danish Culture Minister Jacob Engel Schmidt is taking a stand for all of those whose likeness have been callously tossed into images and videos without their consent. Human beings can be run through the digital copy machine and be misused for all sorts of purposes, and I'm not willing to accept that, he told The Guardian. This is a interesting take. I know that also in our Discord, which you guys should absolutely join, because while we were offline and not posting new live streams, I was in here putting exciting new links for all of you guys to check out, including this Denmark story. And when we did, Stian was in here saying, as a Norwegian, I'm proud to say that we beat Denmark. At least as long as I've lived, you've owned the rights to your own image. I think it's a great step for them and should be common around the world, though. This is just a really great place to post links, get the links before they go live on the show. You can see that we already talked about this, and I'm already kind of giving my ideas back. And this was on the 10th, so this was about a week ago. Like I said, next week we're going to be offline because there's going to be another production going on Wednesday, so File New unfortunately gets pushed. But after that, we will be back for every single week. That said, I will remain active on the Discord, so I will be continuing to post links, which will then later be discussed on live streams. But make sure you go and you hop on. Bree is saying, I love the Discord on and on my phone now also. So yeah, would love to see you guys in there. Also would love to hear how you guys feel about being able to copyright your own face. I don't know if you'd have to do. Penny says, Ryan putting in the work. Check out the little flex. You can also post your Eggo waffles. Yes. Penny was also in here right after the stream last week because she was doing a bit of some field research with buying Eggo after we had talked about the Eggo rebrand. So there you go. Also, Penny also putting in the work. But we got one more news story for you today that I wanted to touch on before we hop into Font of the Week. And this is from Topaz Labs. Topaz Labs, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, is a AI kind of upscaler that has previously done some stuff with imaging, but I know that they recently did a latest update to not only their image, but their video upscaling models, and they can be integrated into your creative workflows, media processing pipelines, and web and mobile videos via an API. You do have to pay for it, but it will let you essentially take a 720p video and upscale it to 1080p. I don't know how high it goes. I don't know if it goes up to 4K or not, but they announced it. And it's something that I personally am very excited about AI being able to tackle, because there's too many times where maybe you have a source file or something from the client that is way too low resolution and you need to be able to get a new update or a new higher res thing so you can incorporate it into your image or your video or your final product, but either the client doesn't have it or you can't find a higher res or something. So something like this is something that I'm excited about. I know there's lots of stuff in the pipeline from lots of different companies, and so something we'll be watching closely. We do have Nate in the chat saying, I just came for Font of the Week, and I love to hear it, so I guess we shouldn't keep you waiting any longer, and we'll hop into Font of the Week. Font of the Week is the section that we do every single show, where we pick out 3 different fonts from Adobe Fonts, and we put them up against each other to have you guys vote and pick on the best font. These are really helpful for me too when I then sit down to design things later and I'm like, what font should I use? And I'm like, oh, I should just look at the ones that people have voted on and say are their favorite. So we have 3 different options today. As always, I'm going to suggest that you guys try to hold off voting so you don't regret your vote. I think you can undo votes, but in the chance that you cannot, you can't say I didn't warn you. Today we have Bassett, Hagrid, and Warbler. three, I like to think, pretty different ones. We definitely have a serif font down here and sans serif at the top, but it's very modular and blocky, very loud, and can be used for posters here with Bassett. So Bree is saying, I love fonts. Bruce is saying, bring it on. Apparently this one is already tough for people, according to Nate. So that's good to know. Clever saying, I'm voting before I see anything. Thank you, Cody, for putting the poll link for YouTube over on Behance. So make sure you guys hop on. Oliver says, so the font we vote for is the one you use on your next project. More or less, a lot of times, or at least they're added to my favorites. So you can access all of these, of course, by using Adobe Fonts. So let's go ahead and check out Bassett from Red Rooster. This is a very strong blocky font. It says that it is a blocky all caps to display family designed by Pat Hickson and later redrawn and expanded by Steve Jackaman. With its bold retro-futuristic forms and striking silhouettes, Bassett will make a statement at large sizes. The family includes 8 styles, each with unique visual energy. From solid and heavy to outlined and layered, Bassett is ideal for sci-fi titles, gaming graphics, event branding, bold posters, or anything that demands a loud, attention-grabbing typographic voice. This one comes with a lot of what I would say like be extending styles. We always like to go in and write file new. That way we get an idea. I'm not the craziest about some of the spacing. It tends to push a lot of these letters together and then they blend into each other, which could be a stylistic choice. But for me, I at least like to have some breathing room. You can go in and you see that 1 is probably the most normal, but then you have 2, which is outlined. 3 adds a little bit of depth with a blocky front, but then you can also flip it around. You can have 4, which is a see-through front and depth of background. You can do just outlines. You can do something where there is kind of an offset fill on the inside. You can do 7, which has the offset fill with the background again. And then you have 8, which is just a full-on blackout. Oh, no, and it also has the outline in the front. You can see here with the F and the I, I'm not wild about how that kind of runs over itself. So you like if I were to want to have it be that close, I would probably have to make it a separate layer, and then maybe put something behind it to make it purple so that it has a round. But if you just go back to sample the normal one, it reads pretty strong. I think in their explanation here, their little example with the logo, I think that looks really good. You guys know we always love to go check out the type window glyphs and just trying to check out to see what else they have. You should note that I guess their @ symbol is not really long. It seems like you have to be kind of smart with this one. This doesn't seem like a set it and forget it kind of typeface. It has to be intentional. You might run into places where there isn't the stuff that you want. But I do think that it is a fun typeface and can be used in limited qualities. I probably wouldn't put this in body copy. Probably be too heavy, probably be too much. But you know, maybe for a title, or if you're just doing a poster, like everything here together is really strong. I see that Bruce is also not crazy about the overlap, which I agree. Ryan, is there a different W? Let's see if there's a different W. It's always nice. You can always highlight a letter and you can always right click and say show alternates. But since there is no alternate for W, it looks like that's all there is. The other thing I will call out, which is kind of working against this one, is this is lowercase and this is uppercase. So there really is uppercase, lowercase. There really is no difference. It's the same. You're going to get all one gigantic, uppercase and lowercase situation. We always like to put something in the middle here, so we're just going to put their little rooster logo. But like that looks cool, right? Like it looks nice when there is something that's interacting with it. So I definitely don't think it's useless. I have my criticisms, but I do think that there is something cool here right now, and that's Bassett. Good for titles and posters, definitely, says Nate. Agreed. Now, next up, we have Hagrid, Beauty and the Beast in a single font. I really liked the quirkiness of this one, especially with like cutting off the bottom of the G in the title screen. I thought was really fun. And this is created by Zeta Fonts. It was designed by Cosimo Lorenzo Pancini, which just sounds fancy, let alone. And it was designed as a celebration of the expressive potential of grotesque letter forms when exposed to the cryptotypographer's love for the strange and the overlooked. It blends grotesque structure with calligraphic counterspaces, inverted contrast, and brutalist shapes to help create a bold, impactful voice for both print and digital use. It was originally released as a display family, but it was expanded and redesigned this year to improve readability and functionality. So now the updated text family features refined proportions and optimized spacing for long-form reading, while the display family introduced subtle contrast and lighter weights in a new black style with fully closed counter spaces for maximum visual impact. So you can see here with that in mind, there are everything from thin to black. So there's a bunch of different weights that you can use. The black in particular is pretty fun if you're going in and it kind of gets rid of some of the see-through parts of the letters. Like that S is pretty wild. With that in mind, I'm going to type out file new. You can see that the bottom structure of the N just kind of melts into the bottom, as does the W. And then you can do all caps or lowercase. So this could be file new. I like how the F is curvy in that way. That doesn't really feel generic. But I'll also show you guys the regular here, which it can then easily be a body copy. And I like the E. I like the cut, the very weird, abnormal kind of cuts into the letters. Like the L isn't fully just 90 degrees up and down. It has a little bit of a adjustment here. If we look at the glyphs, there is a lot of different support for all different languages, both Latin and not Latin. It's got fractions. It's got some glyphs. It's got arrows. It's got little monster guys. What is this? Wait, what was that? Did you get look? You can build little dudes. Oh no, oh no, you guys. This is pretty awesome. We're gonna go in here, and we're gonna go all the way down here, and we're gonna try to make a little face here because we can. Look at him, and this is all scalable. Look at that little guy. There's eggs. We can give him wings. Okay, don't mind if I do. Wait, where did those wings go? Or these crazy like 8 legs, like turn it into a spider. These little bat wings. Wait, let's change that into bat wings. I keep losing my bat wings. And this is all just within the typeface. So, I mean, I'm a little biased here. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's going to be hard to beat, to be honest. That's Hagrid. With lots of support for a lot of different things. So this is definitely a flexible font. You're not going to run out of issues, whereas like with Bassett, you're going to have to be really intentional about it because you might run into a corner. Hagrid really lets you stay nice and flexible and also be able to apply it to a bunch of different stuff. But Oliver is now reconsidering which font he likes. And Weez, talk about this. Nate says we're going over on time today. You know, we'll see. We'll see if we're going on time. We're going to hop over to Warbler finally here, which is our third font. Warbler is created by DJR, which we have featured before. It is David Jonathan Ross's foundry, and this is a really pretty serif font. It is used for extended reading with an emphasis on the screen. Stylistically, it follows in the footsteps of the types cut by William Martin in 1790 for the English printer William Bulmer, who famously used them in his editions for the Shakespeare printing office. This interpretation attempts to showcase the softer side of the modern serif that Martin cultivated in his designs, a more genteel approach that contrasts with the vigorous, authoritative tone of Scotch Romans that would follow it. I love the illustrations of the call out. I like how it has both like an italics. You guys know I love italics, but it has both this like really curvy italics, but it also has very normal, straight up and down letter forms. It has support for a bunch of different like fractions. As far as the glyphs go, they're pretty standard. There's no monsters here, but I would be really surprised if there were monsters here, especially for like a body copy. They do have arrows and brackets and all of your keyboard symbols without it detracting too far away from the style of the letter itself, which is really good. And you can see here, if we do italics, it'll also update some of those symbols as well. We can also show you bold and bold italic. I just love the curviness of the L, the curviness of the I, the curviness of this N, this weird little extension of the W before you get into the loop-de-loop. Very pretty and very adaptable. They have both the banner, display, and deck. So we've been looking at deck, but you can also look into, I can't spell Warbler. Look at me. That's embarrassing. You can also bring it into just like regular if you wanted to do something with like large copy. Banner is going to give you those really like thick and thin vibes, which is fun, especially if it's going to be like a really high point size. So like if you're like really blowing it up, you really can play around with those variables between the two. So as normal, we are going to go and we are going to let you guys fight it out a little bit on the poll as we hop into some of our other news stories, because we've got about 15 minutes left. But these are our three options. We will crown the winner before the end of the show. And these are all available on Adobe Fonts, says Nate. You bet they are. You can see, and they're all linked out as well on all of the Raindrop. But Warbler, Hagrid, and Bassett are all available for you to use. I mean, look at some of the interpretations that they have here. I mean, this looks so cool and fun on this SD card. It's all about knowing your medium, especially when they're playing with colors and changing the colors of that background of it to change it into like the gigabytes. But then this is also really nice where it's showing you it as stickers or display and text. Warbler just makes you feel super smart and like you're going to get your bunch of summer reading done, which is such a great transition to our next thing, because the next thing that we're going to be talking about is Spotlight. On the Adobe Express blog, there are 20 essential books for graphic designers. As brush up skills, find fresh inspiration, or take some advice from your fellow designers. This is coming from the Adobe Express team, and if you're looking for something to read on the beach, or maybe just read in your free time, or maybe before you go to bed, these are all things that can really help you out. I would love to know if everyone has read any of these. We have a list of 20 different here. Ellen Lupton was actually a teacher at my college, which is pretty cool. She's very, very nice, very kind, but also incredibly smart. If you follow her online, she does a bunch of these really cool videos where she bakes things and then uses the baked goods to teach different things about type. So she'll tell you about tangents. She'll tell you about widows. She'll tell you about spacing between letters or hierarchy, and she'll she'll bake them out. And then be able to walk through them. She has really good books, though. I don't know if I have them within arm reach distance, but I do have a few of her books, and you can learn a lot through it. But the number one that they gave the number one spot to here is Graphic Design for Everyone by Kath Caldwell. It's great for beginners who want the basics. It's always important to know the basics. It says this book offers a project-based approach with 10 step-by-step guides for creating a variety of designs. You can create websites, newsletters, e-commerce, invitations, posters, sales materials, and more just by reading this book. It's intended to inspire confidence in designers with applicable skills for visual communication. Bruce is upset that his favorite font is not winning. Right now, it is Warbler is the winner at the moment with 45% of the vote. Hagrid's at 36% and Bassett's at 18%. The Graphic Design Bible by Theo Inglis is great for those with a special interest in history of design. Knowing your history is always super important because that is like the way that you can influence future designs. It can also see if something's already been done before so that you don't have to waste your time realizing it doesn't work, or that maybe it, a lot of times I always think graphic design history is really fun when they have this really beautiful, thought out, wonderful idea, and then it goes out into the world and completely face plants for a completely different reason. Like it vibrates with people's eyes or something. I mean, this isn't like design focus, but I remember that they had to pull back a Pokemon episode way back in the 90s because it was accidentally giving a bunch of people seizures, and it was something that nobody flagged. But then now moving forward, people have to be very aware of strobing lights and stuff, and you have warnings, and it all goes back to this Pokemon episode. There's also designs that have been horrible for being able to move things around. and like especially the Olympic stories, and one that's always really interesting to check out. Apparently, Oliver is reading the 3rd book right now, which is Graphic Design Rules: 365 Essential Do's and Don'ts of Design by Peter Dawson, John Foster, Tony Seaton, Sean Adams, and Stephen G. Butcher. It's great for beginners who want lighthearted design advice. This book covers design mantras with 4 industry experts, providing valuable do's and don'ts for every day of the year, covering topics such as typography, color, layout, imagery, production, and creative thinking. This book delivers guidance and advice in a fun and relatable way. Maybe we should start a little book club, a little file new book club. That'd be fun. I'll let you guys know if I end up picking one. And guess where I'm going to put it? I'm going to put it in the Discord. So if you're not already in the Discord, make sure you hop in the Discord, and I'll let you know. Oliver says that he's got a couple of the others, but has not read them yet. He likes the humor in the book of the 3rd one. And Umercorn says, I'd like to lend a few of the books you have. So apparently we're passing books around. So we'll have to check that out, and we'll have to then see if we become smarter and all of our designs become so much better because we have the beauty of books. That's all we have for Spotlight for today, but we do have some resources for you guys. But before we do that, I want to go into some toys, and let's hop in to Hyperlinks. We're having fun with monsters and stuff today, so I thought maybe, we should keep it fun for some fun. There's all these daily challenges ever since Wordle got really big, and this one is called Hued. This one is the daily color puzzle, where they give you a color to guess in 3 colors, and then you mess with like saturation and stuff to see if you can get the right color. It will give you an update of, like, obviously this is July 16th, number 35, and this is from Jake Tippett. You'll hit play. It says, match today's color by adjusting the hue and saturation of the circle. Swipe left and right to change the hue, up and down to adjust the saturation. You have 3 guesses to match the color to today's word or phrase. The closer your match, the higher your score. A tip is to tap the crosshair to fine-tune your color with more precise control. So today is clownfish, which obviously would be orange, right? Oh, that's kind of good. Wait, oh, that's max saturation. I'm going to guess with this one already. I'm just going to say this is like Finding Nemo. 81% clownfish. All right, so Ad's saying it needs less pop. So I'm guessing that's going to be less saturation. But more saturation. But maybe it needs to be a little bit more red. Is that? That looks more like it. Submit that guess. 90%. All right, so it needs to be punchier. Okay, so maybe it needs to be like this. We'll see. This is our final guess. Also, there's always a hint. Oh, look, it literally shows you like the color, but then you kind of have to like put it away. I think that's pretty close. So let's submit our final guess. 98%. All right. Not bad. Not bad. And guess what, guys? You know where I'm going to put this? You guess where I'm going to put this, guys? I'm going to put this in the Discord. Is that right? Is that right? That's right. That's exactly where I'm going to put it, because that's where things go. And then you guys can also share yours as well. Although if you watch this, you're probably going to cheat, because you guys are a bunch of cheaters. And so I'm going to go, and I'm going to, oh, it's already there. And it goes in the Discord. Wow. What a full circle moment. But that's cool. It updates every single day. And I look forward to seeing it tomorrow, which is fun. Thank you for the encouragement, Bruce. I appreciate you. We have one other fun toy for you guys today online, and this is Flipbook. This is a simple GIF animation app for the web. And it's exactly what we think it is. It's just a little animation thing that you can make GIFs out of. You can very easily start animating. So we'll like add a little squiggle. You go to the next frame. You can then turn on the onion if you want. So like maybe this is starting to go. We'll make it into like a little thing. We are going over on time today, aren't we? Aren't we? But I want to make sure that this reads. I don't know if you can decrease the amount of frames is my thing. Because when I was trying it earlier, it didn't seem to let me decrease the amount of frames. But that's also kind of a fun experiment, right? Like being able to always use the same amount of frames for everyone that's using it. You can also like put in spray cans and stuff. We're just going to completely go off the rails at the end here. Boom. You can also, what is this? What is that? A spray fill. Okay. We're just going to fill up all of the frames. That way we get a full idea while you guys vote for Font of the Week. Isn't this is going to be such a great GIF. And you can play it back. Oh, we're going to turn off the onion, though. And then you can save it as a GIF if you want to. You know, shortcuts. It gives you things like you can be able to copy and paste and move things around. Like you can copy the frame to the next and the previous by pressing like Control D or Command D, Command Shift D, and it'll get you there. It's tight again. All right. Then we got a few more resources. We're not going to be able to get through all of these. So what should we go? I mean, I definitely advertised this at the beginning of the show. So let's look at this real quick. TripAdvisor did an update to their branding. This is for Rebrand, even though we're technically still in Hyperlinks. Let's do the little chime for Rebrand. The biggest thing here for me, at least, honestly, is that they increased the size of the owl. They also brought up the color of the green to such a loud hex. Before it used to be this turquoise teal kind of situation, and then now they're really leaning in on this bright green. They're really focusing on the kind of continuation of this horizontal line with the top of the T and the bottom of the eyes reaching the bottom of the TripAdvisor. I'm not going to show this whole thing because this would be taking away from them, but one thing I did want to show is that in some cases they are doing this cursor with it following the eyes. Fun fact, owls actually can't move their eyes, and that's why they move their heads so much. So it's not anatomically correct, but it is a fun new application of a logo and its interaction. If we go to tripadvisor.com, we can also go see how they are doing it in practice. You can see that the green is immediately visible, and they really do a good job of being able to apply it to all different parts around their logo, their website, and it's a cool rebrand. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Nate saying that dark green is fun. Yes. Also, it's like the only time you're ever going to interact with TripAdvisor is going to be a digital experience. It's not going to be print. So the fact that they're using like an RGB bright saturated color makes sense because like you don't have to play to the confinements of print if you're not ever really going to be seen in print. You know what I mean? But interesting to see. Full write-up is on under consideration. I think it's like $1 a month or something like that. Highly recommend. And then we had a bunch of other resources, but I guess I'll just save them for 2 weeks from now, or we'll put them on in the Discord. How many times can I say Discord? Get in the Discord, you guys. So finally, font of the week. Let's see what you guys are voting for. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to close it. I'm going to give you guys like 10 more seconds. I'm going to close my eyes. Font of the week. Do your votes. Do your votes. Do your votes. And then I'm going to hit end poll in 5. Oh, wait, it's tied. I can't finish it when it's tied, guys. I need one more vote because it's tied, and we've never had a tie before. Right now, to give you an idea, if you haven't voted, it is 43% Hagrid, 43% Warbler, 14% Bassett. What are we going to do? We need one vote. One vote. I know you're out there. I'm about to hop on myself and vote myself because I can't finish. I cannot finish on a tie. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I'll wait it out. I feel like a teacher. Like, I'll wait. I'll wait. You can hear me watching it on my own. All right, we'll do... Oh, my God. Oh, my God, we can end it now. Thank goodness. All right, end that poll. With the winner being... Hagrid. Yay! Congratulations! We're going to move the little crown. We're going to move it over to Hagrid. Everyone clap it up. Monster creator. And Evie is upset. Darn it. This is a great one. I think we had 3 really good contenders. It was pretty close today. It was 46%, 40%, and 13%. You guys were not into Bassett. I think it's just inflexibility really goes a long way. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for being here. Like I said, we won't be here next week. Next week, unfortunately, there is something else exciting happening on Adobe Live. But we will be back in 2 weeks, and then we'll be back every single week. I am getting married next month, so there will be some guest hosts next month, which will be fun. But after next week, we are back for season 4 constantly, and we will continuously update every week on Wednesday at this new time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, which is, 10 a.m. Western? But that is all for us for today on YouTube. But fear not, folks. I'm going to go ahead and in the chat, I'm going to make sure that I put in the URL for Twitch, because twitch.tv/Adobe, we're about to start our scheduling, and we'll be live for the next 3 hours over on Twitch right after we go offline today. I suggest you guys go over and check it out. We have some really fun videos that are all queued up. We have, it's not called Enchanted, I think it's called Creative Retouching, I believe. And then with Bella Kotek. And then we also have CA in LA, and they have a great show for an hour and a half after that. So make sure you go and you check that out. Thank you guys again. I will see you all in 2 weeks. I will be on Adobe live streaming, but not for File New on Tuesday. So you'll see my face on Tuesday. But I'll see you guys over on Twitch in the chat in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. See y'all soon. Bye.